Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joe Pisapia, and this is BP NFL. It's time to do our preview of the NFC West, what's changed year over year, and of course, looking ahead to not only the win totals, the division winners, but also our favorite bets. And this is a division with a lot of talent in it, so it should be a very fun show. And speaking of talent, I've got two amazing talents with me today, Terrell Furman Jr. and the Undertaker, Andrew Erickson. We're going to go through, give you our takes, our updates, and even more. And don't forget to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel. Drop your comments below and ring the bell till it goes ding, because we're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers this year, and we can do it with your help. So get on board with us, because we're going to be here all NFL season long, baby. And of course, don't forget to download the Betting Pros app to bet smarter, not harder. Use the tools. Don't be a tool, because we can help you win money this NFL season. Let's start off with the recap of the offseason here. Let's start with the 49ers. Purdy's back, Kittle's back, Warner's back. Everybody got extended. Well, maybe everybody for the 49ers, but they did get a little pillaged in free agency. They lost 16 players. They traded Deebo Samuel. Terrell Furman Jr. has a lot of turnover in San Fran after a disappointing Super Bowl loss and even more disappointing 2024 season. So can the 49ers regroup with all of this turnover?
Well, I mean, I hate to throw you a question to you, but you tell me. I feel like we would only be doing our listeners a disservice if we didn't let the number one 49ers hater go first in this preview. So you tell me, Joe. Matter of fact, I wish, if I could control the boxes and everything, I just move me over into your spot and move you into my spot. Joe, what do you think about the 49ers getting just completely rifled in free agency this year?
I don't love it. I mean, football is a game of continuity, right? I think football is a game of continuity, and the teams that have continuity with coach and personnel tend to succeed more often than not. Kyle Shanahan's always been a coach that I think is a little too cute for his own good sometimes. That's just a fact. You know, sometimes some simple BS, boring-ass football would win you more playoff games, I think, if you go back and look at some of the tape. I think a healthy Christian McCaffrey is really what this team either becomes or doesn't become. And my problem is the same problem Bogman has with the 49ers, which is I don't trust them when they tell me injury news. Therefore, I find it very difficult to invest in them. I like some of the individual talents. I like Kittle. I'm curious about Pearsall. Juwan Jennings had a really good season. I'm concerned about Ayuk a little bit. I think Brock Purdy is a system quarterback, and sometimes that term gets thrown around a little too much for my taste, but I think if the shoe fits here, Brock Purdy's definitely wearing the system quarterback Nike shoes here today. And I think that overall there's potential here for the 49ers to get back on track and win this division. I think the division isn't super strong outside of one other team. So, yeah, I think they're a playoff possible team. My problem is, Andrew, in your opinion, do you think that, once again, is the turnover a good thing because they had some roster issues and some injuries and some age? Or do you think maybe it's just too much of a refresh year over year?
I think it's tough for the defense in particular. I think that was one of the things where, because with Shanahan, you expect, okay, he's going to make this offense work. Like, this is an above-average offense as long as they can at least be healthier than last year. Again, that was one of the reasons why we were fading the 49ers, the Fraudy Niners last year, was because they were really healthy in 2023, and we see this every year. The healthiest team does not repeat as the healthiest team 2 years in a row. And last year, the 49ers, it was awful. All their guys were getting banged up. And I do think that looking at the team this year, especially on the offensive side of the ball, they are leaning on a lot of their older players. Trent Williams is 37 years old, and he's their best offensive lineman. And when he misses games, they run into issues. George Kittle, again, not super old in terms of tight end, but still an older player above the age of 30, and he's going to have to play a big role because there is no Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk is coming off a major knee injury. So there's some question marks there. And I think, too, with the 49ers, even though they got Robert Saleh back now, he's the defensive coordinator. They did invest in the defensive line in the NFL draft, added Bryce Huff. I think that one of the things is, from a betting and value perspective, it's all kind of already baked in. Their win total is already really, really high. People are expecting there to be a bounce back. So I agree that they will bounce back, but is there a value proposition, even though they have the easiest schedule in the NFL? I'm excited to kind of break it down a little bit.
That's a good point. The schedule helps. Terrell, I'm going to put it to you this way. I think Christian McCaffrey is good for a 3 to 4 game swing. Would you agree with that? If he's healthy and he plays every game, you're looking at a 12-ish win team. If he doesn't, you're looking at a potentially 8 or 9 win team. Do you think that's too much of a hot take?
No, I don't. You might be not selling it enough, honestly. I think Christian McCaffrey, in tandem with the fact of them having the easiest schedule in the NFL, it makes this a lot easier to at least be a double digit win team despite all the turnover that you have. Now, Christian McCaffrey will help that go up as far as he may because it's going to make the offense so much easier. Like, it's going to look a lot better even though the pieces aren't there in place. So, no, Christian McCaffrey is a big part of this for me, but it's also what Erickson just said. They do have an easy schedule, and if the teams in front of you can't do anything with the football, then does it really matter if you've lost this much?
No, it's certainly something to discuss, and we'll discuss how it impacts their win totals in just a moment. The Rams' big offseason acquisition was clearly Davante Adams, which I absolutely love. Adams has a lot left in the tank. Clearly, he's an ageless wonder. We saw that last year with the Jets. And Puka Nacua has been a little fragile at times, which means Davante Adams can step up and be that number one. Plus, I think when you talk about Jared Verse and some of the other pieces in that defense last year, Andrew, to me, you're looking at a Rams team that really started to figure things out last year, kind of got caught, in the bad weather, in the snow in Philadelphia in the playoffs. It's like the last place and situation a team from LA wants to be in. And unfortunately, things didn't go well for them to finish the season. But I think a lot of people like me have high expectations for the Rams this year. What did you think of their offseason, and what do you think of where they're positioned currently in 2025?
I still wish that they invested more into their defensive secondary. But I said the same thing last year, and it didn't make a difference because they have one of the best defensive lines with edge rushers all over the place, and that's something that they continue to invest in. We want to be up front, rush the passer, and we'll worry about the back end. And if we have to get into shootouts, we'll get into shootouts and win those games. I think it just comes down to, is Stafford and Sean McVay, are those guys hitting on all cylinders? Because when they are on, this team can go toe-to-toe with any team in the NFL. So I understand why you would want to be bullish, especially when you add a guy like Davante Adams, who is a double-digit touchdown machine.
Yeah. And insurance policy, I think that's really the key, because last year when Puka went down, Cooper Kupp could no longer pick up the slack. That was very clear, Terrell. So this is a team that has a lot of continuity year over year. This is a team that all of a sudden turned over the page and got younger on defense in 2024. And now I feel like they're poised to really challenge for the top of this division. I really like the Rams this year. To me, I think they're the biggest threat to the Eagles in this conference. But what's your take on the Rams offseason into the regular season?
I think that I'm very excited, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, we already kind of know how that's going to go, and that can be better, and they're going to look solid. But the defensive side of the ball here, I'm ready to see what does this new defense look like under Chris Shula, and then also, is Jared Verse and Kobe Turner really the real thing? Like, they've been really, really good, really, for like the past couple of seasons, honestly. And now you have life without Aaron Donald. You have a defense without Aaron Donald. You're giving them an identity rather than just saying, hey, go out there and play NFL football games. They actually are starting to build an identity here. So I'm interested to see how this defense plays out throughout the whole year, if they get better throughout the year, if they figure it out, if it all comes together. Because if it all comes together, then yes, the Rams could be one of the best teams in the NFC. But right now, they have the same question mark on defense that I have for the 49ers right now.
All right, let's take a look at the Seattle Seahawks, a roster on offense, to me, Terrell, that resembles the team that gets auto-picked in your fantasy football draft. It's just not very exciting. You're kind of looking at it and go, ugh, this is kind of gross. JSN has potential, but obviously Sam Darnold now the new quarterback. They also drafted Jalen Milroe to be hopefully their future quarterback. We'll see how much we see him this year in 2025, perhaps in some packages, or if Sam Darnold looks like the Sam Darnold of the very end of the 2024/2025 season, perhaps we see Jalen Milroe a little sooner. Time will tell. Torrey Horton, I have some expectations for long-term, but I don't know how much he's going to work this year. Cooper Kupp, obviously, coming over, as well as Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Terrell, this is not a team that I'm super excited about. Defensively, they do have some talent, but to me, offensively, I think there's a lot more questions than answers. But what's your thoughts?
I mean, I'm interested to see if this was too premature or not. Just kind of revamping the entire team. Jackson Smith and Jigma is a player that I think the continuity of the offense and everything working would have only made him better another year, and now it just seems like everything flipped around. New quarterback, new wide receiver on the other side, new offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak coming in, and it's just like, is Jackson Smith and Jigba going to make things easier for Sam Darnold? Because if he does it, then Sam Darnold's going to have a really, really tough go at it. This isn't going to be just as easy as Kevin McConnell set it up for him. And so with that, I think we're maybe not at Jet Sam Darnold, but I think it's a lot closer to Jet Sam Darnold than what he was last year for the Vikings. So with that, I have to say, like Shark Tank, I'm out.
Okay, he is out. Andrew Erickson, are you willing to make any investments in the Seahawks and after this offseason?
I am not. And I think we're just going to see the emphasis on Sam Darnold going from basically the perfect environment in Minnesota. You're playing indoors. You have all the weapons galore, and it's perfect. And now you're going to Seattle, where what was their biggest issue last season? Their offensive line. It was terrible last season. Now, some of that was due to injuries. They did invest in Gray Zabel in the NFL draft this season, but it's still a new offense with Clint Kubiak coming in from the Saints. You know, he did, I think, get the most out of that unit that a lot of people, including myself, thought in 2024, this Saints offensive line is terrible, and before Derek Carr got hurt, it was actually holding up pretty well. So Darnold spent time with Kubiak with the 49ers in 2023 when he was the backup. So there is some continuity with what the offense can be, but at the end of the day, when I look at the Seahawks, it kind of feels similar to the Raiders, where I think in another division, maybe I'd feel better about them, but I've seen Sam Darnold when he's not in the perfect situation. I mean, we talk about he's seeing ghosts, but it's real. Like, this really happens. When the situation's not perfect around him, he crumbles, and Seattle, despite their best efforts to try to put pieces around him, I mean, Cooper Kupp as your wide receiver too, man. Like, if he's not going to be out there by week 4, then how is that going to help you? So those are my concerns with Seattle.
Let's take a look at the offseason for the Arizona Cardinals, which basically consisted of signing Josh Sweat and getting Marvin Harrison Jr. A Bowflex. I think those are the two things that we basically found out about the offseason for the Cardinals. Erickson, anything you'd like to add here about the Cardinals offseason? I know we have a swole Marvin Harrison to look forward to, but I don't know, man. It looks kind of like the same thing. They're just running back from last year, and it was certainly lacking a bit last year.
Well, I think that you're not giving enough credit to the other defensive improvements. So you said Josh Sweat, but they drafted all defensive players in the NFL draft.
That's
Every
true.
Every single pick they made was on defense. So they were very clear going in and be like, okay, offense, we feel good about our personnel that we have. Everybody just has to improve. Marvin Harrison entering year 2 with Kyler Murray. He can get better. He can improve. He's bulked up. But Walter Nolan, I think that he's a potential home run pick if he has his head on straight. Will Johnson, he was viewed as potentially the cornerback 1 in this draft class had it not been for injuries. They also added Dalvin Tomlinson, defensive tackle, in free agency. Darius Robinson, their top pick from 2023. He only played 6 games last year because of an injury. So I think that this front 7 is going to be way better than it was last year. Because I think last year it really was one of the biggest attacking points for the Arizona Cardinals defense. I think Jonathan Gannon now has the pieces that he wants to get more from this front 7 because it was terrible last year. And I think that an underrated signing is actually Calais Campbell. You know, bringing him back to the team that he started his career with. And yeah, he's 39 years old, but I think that the younger players seeing a guy like Calais Campbell in that locker room and being like, this guy has been like a legend at the defensive tackle position. And if he's out here gutting it out in the fourth quarter, like, I'm a 21-year-old, 22-year-old defensive lineman. Like, why am I not gutting it out too? So I think that he's going to help get the best out of this front 7. And the other thing with the Cardinals I like too is they're playing in all indoor games. Most indoor games of any team in the NFL in 2025, 13 games. And 2 of their road games are in 49ers, so that's in week 3, so you're expecting decent weather. And then one of them is in Tampa Bay later in the season, which should also be decent weather. So really, they're going to be in very favorable conditions for their offense.
Calais Campbell's almost old enough to be Walter Nolan's dad. I mean, just looking at the age numbers there. All right, so they did go all in on the defensive side. But Terrell, do you think they came away with the right personnel to make a big difference and a big leap this season?
I think they do. Like, I think that this Cardinals team is just, I think they have a realm of possibilities that puts them right there about 500. And that's going to be enough to get over the win total. Like, I think that they actually could be okay. The one defensive piece that I was looking at that I thought, hey, if this guy goes out there and does everything that everybody else has told me he's going to do, then this defense is going to be very much improved, and that's Will Johnson. It coming over from Michigan, he's a guy that was a clear-cut first-round talent. A lot of people told me that. I'm not one of the Michigan Glazers. I'm not. But they told me that he's a really, really good cornerback. And if he's healthy, he's going to make that leap really, really quickly in the NFL. And I think that, health being the only thing that's concerning about him and why he fell in the draft, that it was a steal for the Cardinals. So I think defensively they're going to be a lot better, and this is going to be up to Gannon in year 3 to prove, hey, I'm a defensive head coach, and you give me some very talented pieces, I can make them all gel and put them together. The offense, well, we'll see. They'll go as far as Kyler Murray wants to take them, to be honest.
That is usually the rub there. Let's get into the Arizona win totals. Before we do, you should check out NoVig, because if you're looking for a smarter way to play, there's a new sports trading platform that's changing the game, and it's called NoVig. It's illegal in most states, including Georgia, California, and Texas. It's peer-to-peer, which means you're competing against other users, not the house, and you can often find better lines than the traditional books will give you. So you could set your own lines, which gives you control much more than sports books, and they just don't offer that. So there's no commissions, no hidden fees. Seriously, you just go out there and use a coin deposit system, but it's real money, and you can use the promo code DailyJuice right now for 50% off your first coin purchase up to $25. Check it out now at bettingpros.com/juice. That's bettingpros.com/juice. And our good friend Mike Mayer can tell you he's on that thing every single day making his picks. So if you have any questions, hit him up on our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat. But go ahead, check out NoVig today and start making some cash. Let's look at the Arizona win totals here. 4.5, 6.5, 8.5. That's where we can live here. Over 8.5 is -120. Under is +100. I think the under +100 is my favorite of these totals. Andrew Erickson, let's start with you. Arizona Cardinals. Where do you want to live here with the win total?
I'm going to take the over. Over 8.5 wins at -120. Furman hit on it with the Arizona Cardinals being around a 500 team. That's Kyler Murray for his NFL career. He's been around 8 wins every season of his NFL career. That's really been his average. So it's going to come down to the wire probably. But the thing with the Cardinals that I like the most about, I think that this is a team that you should bet now, because when you look at their opening schedule, Saints, Panthers, 49ers, Seahawks, Titans, Colts, and Packers. That's very favorable. And when do we see the Cardinals win the most games with Kyler Murray? It's like September and October. Like, this is a team that usually starts fast and then they fall off a cliff. And that's what happened last year, because I bet the win total on the Cardinals last year, and I remember around about mid-season, I was like, the Cardinals are going to win this division. Like, I'm feeling good about this. And then they had their bye week, and then they just crashed and burned. They finished 2-5. So that's why I like betting this now, because I think they're going to start out hot because of the favorable schedule, because that's traditionally what this offense has done with Kyler Murray. Like, the defense is going to be better. The last 2 seasons, this defense has been bottom 5 in terms of health on the defensive side of the football. So they've been banged up. I already talked about the improvements they've made. I think this defense is going to be hovering in the top 10. Combine that with an offense that's going to take some steps forward with players, with Kyler Murray, with Marvin Harrison Jr. I like taking the over now, and what you can always do, just cash out before Call of Duty Black Ops 7 drops.
Well, we don't have the release date on that yet, but I do have the dates. After Thanksgiving, they play Tampa, they play the Rams, they play Houston, they play the Falcons, they play the Bengals, and then the Rams again. So Terrell, I'm sticking by my under 8.5. I'm taking the plus money, and I'm running that the Arizona Cardinals will fall just shy of being a 500 team. But what say you?
No, I like the over. I think that it's good value, because you got to look at who they play here. They play the NFC and the AFC South here. Like, they have 8 games versus my 2 worst conferences in football. And so while I think the NFC South is going to be a little bit improved and maybe they steal a game or 2, I think that they're still going to fare well. And I like their chances in 8 games just against them. And then they have their division, which is going to be wonky. And I think that they'll win some, they'll lose some there. Like, everything just says, man, this is like a 9-win team. And I'll go a little bit over here. But I think it's really what Erickson said about where they play these games. They have 1 cold weather game this entire season, and that's a road trip to the Bengals on a Saturday. But, like, other than that, everything else is either indoors or you're in Florida in November playing against the Buccaneers. So, like, I think that they just got the schedule bug where we're going to see this team either fighting for a playoff spot at the end of the year, or maybe they actually do it and make it to the playoffs. But we're going to be sitting there talking about them like, but are they still really good? But yet they go over the win total. But we're still be questioning if they're really good.
Question. They're probably not. They're probably not. I mean, look, if
and
Marvin
I think
Harrison
so too,
Jr.
but
breaks out,
they still get over the win total.
If Marvin Harrison Jr. breaks out, great. Like I said, my problem is Kyler Murray at the end of the day. Like I said, his demeanor on the field, his demeanor in the huddle, he just looks like a guy who doesn't want to be there. He's just very uninspiring to me as an NFL quarterback. Like, I want guys that, like, you see them in the huddle, they have control of everything. They look like they're, just ready to go. I mean, he has the same look in the huddle like my daughters do when I ask them to empty the dishwasher. It's the same look on his face, and it's not good. It's not good. The Rams win total. Look, 9.5 is right here where it is. Over -145, under +125. I would even push this to 10.5 personally because I'm very confident in the Rams getting over 10 wins this year. I'm buying the Rams. I was buying the Rams last year as well, and it paid off because I thought they were undervalued. Now I think they're much stronger, cohesive unit year over year. The defense feels, I think, confident going into the season. There were a lot of questions. What are we going to do without Aaron Donald? They answered those questions last year. They added some more help at wide receiver. So to me, I think this is wheels up for the Rams. I like them not only the 9.5, I would push it and put it over to 10.5. Terrell, where do you stand with the Rams win total?
I'm with you. I like over on the Rams as well. I think the Rams are very much live to win this division, and it just seems like that's kind of where they find themselves. Like they were the team that was in the NFC that they had a chance to beat the Eagles, and they could have did it last year. And now there's just another year better. I think that's going to play a part into the revenge factor as well, how that season ended. And they made the moves. They brought in a Devontae Adams, which I think is an upgrade over Cooper Kupp. They went and attacked the defense. They have a new defensive coordinator, and that could be something really, really special to them. Because if that defense pushes up to one of the top defenses in the league, this Rams team is really, really scary. And you're talking about a 10-win team. They might be closer to a 13-win team if that defense is really nasty. So, yeah, I like the Rams to go over.
If that game was in L.A. last year against the Eagles, do you think it would have turned out a little different?
Yeah.
I do too.
I do.
I do too. I think it would have been a much, much different story. All right, Andrew Erickson, Rams win total. Where do you stand?
I'm also on the over. So I like the over at 9.5. I don't like the -145 necessarily, so I think I agree with you. I'd rather tease it up to over 10.5 to get a bigger payout. Because when I was doing projections for a lot of these teams, because this division is playing the AFC South. So, yes, we talked about the 49ers having a very favorable schedule. Most of these teams have favorable schedules because when you face the AFC South, you're going to be favored more often than not. Yeah. You're going to get some W's. So, yeah, I think that the Rams are a team where it's going to be probably more around 12, 13 wins or 5 wins if Stafford gets hurt. Because we know when that happens, usually things just completely bottom out. But hey, Jimmy Garoppolo's the backup, so maybe they can do something more.
And Stetson Bennett's still there too, isn't he? I'm pretty sure. All right. San Francisco 49ers, the win total's 8.5, 10.5. That's kind of where we're living here. It feels like the smart bet is just to take the 10.5 at -105 and not push things. But I find this really hard to invest in. Again, I wish I didn't. But to me, the 49ers total is to stay away because I think there's so many variables in it where they could be a 14-win team or they could completely bottom out and McCaffrey gets hurt and the wheels come off here. I think we're at that fork in the road here with the 49ers. And I don't know which way it's going. Therefore, I am just going to stay away from it and I'm just going to invest in the Rams instead. Erickson, how are you investing in the 49ers and are you investing in the 49ers?
Yeah, I kind of teased this earlier when we were talking about them. I just don't think there's a lot of value here with the 49ers. I think it's better because it's all baked in, right? The schedule. It's the easiest that they have. And when I look at this compared to the Cardinals win total, 8.5, the Rams win total, 9.5, I think that all three of these teams could be live to win this division get 11 wins. So the 49ers, the way that it's set it up here at 10.5, I just don't see a lot of value. So for me, it's probably just a shy away.
Shy away. All right. Terrell, where do you think the win total lands here for the 49ers?
Give me an under. I think 10.5 is too much.
All right.
I don't think they should be the favorite, and that's ultimately why I'm fading them. I don't think they should be the favorite for this division. I don't think they should be the best win total. I think the Rams, as of right now, profile as a better team than the 49ers, and they're not being respected like it. So I think the win total is going to come a little bit short. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a 10-win team. I wouldn't be even more surprised if they're actually third place in this division and the Cardinals make a leap above them. I really wouldn't. And so I can't do anything with them at 10.5, and I can't bet the 49ers at really any stage. I'd have to see it to believe it, but Robert Saleh coming back in and looking at the defense that he has now opposed to the defense that he left with, and he's like, all right, let's see what we can do here. And that's just enough for me to not be on the 49ers at all. So give me an under on the 10.5 wins.
Last win total here for this division, the Seattle Seahawks. You've got 4.5, 5.5, 7.5. Terrell, what are you interested in?
What? Matter of fact, no, we'll say that for the end. Just give me an under. Just give me an under. Which
one do you want to take? The under 7.5? You think that's the smarter way?
I think you can ladder it. I think you can ladder it. I really do. Sam Darnold, when you give him full control of an offense, could be really, really, really bad. And
you're getting plus 340 at under 5.5. Like, that would be bottoming out. And when you're talking about what division they're playing outside in the conference, that does, I think, make me a little nervous about going that far.
I think Sam Darnold is really bad. And
that is not a hot take.
He still had the turnover issues. He still had the turnover issues last year, and I think that can only be multiplied times 10 this year. So I have to see it to believe it, to see that leaving from Kevin McConnell is going to be anything good for Sam Darnold, because like the only time that anybody has ever had any hope with Sam Darnold is when he was on the 49ers and when he was on the Vikings. And this Seahawks team is completely different than those two teams. So I want nothing to do with it at all. I would ladder it under. It's just going to be a bad year for the Seahawks.
I'll take the 7.5 minus 135 is just a really solid bet and put like 2 units on it, Erickson. I think that's just a good, solid, old-timey football bet. What do you think?
The under or the over?
The under.
Is it?
Under.
I thought it was.
I'm sorry. The under is at plus money. What am I saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
The
like,
under
what
plus
are you
115 at 7.5. Yes, the under plus 115. Yes, all day. Sorry about that. I mean, that's how confident I am. I'm willing to take the juice. I misread it for a moment. Yes, plus 115. Yeah, under 7.5. Perfection.
Yes, I'm slamming that as well. Like the plus money under 7.5. I projected them to get six wins. That's what I'm looking at. It's really against the AFC South teams and maybe an occasional home game that they'll win. But Sam Darnold, before he went 14-3 last year, in the best offensive environment you could ask for, his record 21-35, 38% win rate. That would equate to just over 6 wins per year over a 17-game sample size. So I just think it's going to be a slap in the face of reality with Sam Darnold, and it's just not going to be pleasant. And if anything, this beats us if Jalen Milroe, potentially takes on snaps during the end of the season, and he's using his mobility and they're doing crazy things, and that would concern me. So,
yeah, I mean, Superflex managers and fantasy are going to be excited to see Jalen Milroe, though. That's for sure. All right, let's take a look at the division winners here. The Rams at plus 175, the 49ers at plus 165, the Cardinals at plus 425, and plus 550 on the Seahawks. I can't believe it's only plus 550. I'll be honest with you. I think that number is just wrong. I think it should be at least plus 859 for them to win this division. But it's early. Look, I like the Rams at plus 175. I'm just keeping it simple here. I think as long as Matthew Stafford is upright, Sean McVay is the best coach. Yeah, I said it, in that division. I think the defense came a long way last year. I really believe in what they did, getting after the quarterback last year, putting pressure on the quarterback. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua is a lot for any other secondary. And Kyren Williams, last time I checked, is still getting the job done. Everybody keeps wanting to replace Kyren Williams, and Kyren Williams just keeps going out there and having good seasons, and I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. Andrew Erickson, where are you putting your money on this division winner?
I think I'm probably going to go with the Rams, too. I like the Cardinals, but you lay out the good case where the second halves of these Cardinals team, they just leave you asking why. Why did I invest this money in this Cardinals team? Why did I not cash out? So I think that if you want to sprinkle it on now for the division, and I think that these odds are going to shift because the Cardinals are going to start out with a winning record, and then you can cash out. But again, if I'm going to predict who's going to win this division, it's probably going to be the Rams.
Terrell, who wins the NFC West?
NFC West won by the Rams. Cardinals give them a scare, but I think it's won by the Rams.
So no 49er love at all here from anybody.
No.
Well, it's nice that you've all come to my side. So
it's a horrible price, honestly. Like for the question marks and all that they've lost, and we bring back Robert Saleh. Like we don't know if Christian McCaffrey is going to be 100% all season. Like it's just a lot of question marks to be laying the least or getting the worst price. Like I would not.
What would be the enticing price? Like if I gave you the
2-1,
gave it a plus 350.
Oh, well, yeah, of course, plus 350. But if you told me it was 2-1, 49ers, I'm like, okay.
Plus 220, 49ers.
Yeah, like
you want.
220.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's the issue with the 49ers, because we talked about the positives with them, but it's all baked into the market. Like, I just don't see a lot of value.
It's all baked
with a lot
into
of
the
these
first
plays.
month of the season too, Erickson. Seattle, New Orleans, Arizona, Jacksonville. I mean, if they don't, I mean, there's a very clear 4-0 potentially when you turn the page into October. And then who's waiting for him? The Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right after to slap him in the mouth. But I think you could see the 49ers get off to a hot start this season for sure. Like, that's not impossible the way the schedule is set up. And I think that's why you see the number where it is. And we'll see how it goes. Now, we're going to get to everyone's favorite bets here for this division. And I'll kick things off here. I like the Rams not only in this division, I like the Rams to win the NFC. I know the Eagles are fun. They're building the dynasty, whatever. But history's not kind to guys who carry the football 400 times in a year. Go look at the data. Go follow me on social media, Joe Pisapia 17. Go put in Joe Pisapia 17 Saquon Barkley, and you'll see all the data. Or just buy yourself a fantasy black book on Amazon because it's in there too. The data is not kind. So if Saquon Barkley misses any significant period of time with injuries or issues, I think that hurts this team quite a bit. And it's going to hurt them in the playoffs. And for me, plus 800 to win the NFC. I like Sean McVay. I like Matthew Stafford. I like that duo. I like the leadership that's there. I'm investing in the Rams. Comeback player of the year. Look, this is make or break, right? Christian McCaffrey, I told you, it's all or nothing here. If we get the all, we're going to make a ton of money on this because it's plus 370 for him to win comeback player of the year. And it's the perfect award because if he's great, he's not going to win MVP because he's a running back. But we can give him comeback player of the year. We don't even have to give him offensive player of the year. Just comeback player of the year. There you go, Christian. You can take your hardware, take it home with you. Don't trip over, though, because you got a lot of lower leg issues, and I don't want you to get hurt. Also, Devontae Adams, this is my favorite one. This is a smash. Over 950 and a half receiving yards for him. Minus 114. Smash this, and I'll tell you why. He's gone over this number every single year since 2018. He is as right as rain. You could set your clock to Devontae Adams. He's got Matthew Stafford throwing him the football and the Sean McVay offense. Smash this. This is my favorite of all the bets. The easiest money bet you're going to find. Is it the best return on investment? No, but it's an easy way to make some money in 2025. Andrew Erickson, let's take a look at some of your favorites here when we're looking ahead for bets, wild cards, crazy bets. What do you have here for the NFC West?
Yep, so I'm going to be locking in the Cardinals win total over 8.5 at minus 120. And then I'm going to be following that up with Seattle Seahawks to finish dead last in the NFC West, plus 175. You can get that on DraftKings.
That's
Sportsbook.
A great one.
Yes,
I love
it is
that.
excellent. And that one comes
where can you get that? I want to go bet it right now.
It's on DraftKings.
Okay.
DraftKings Sportsbook. And that comes straight from the BettingPros Discord. I was chopping it up, talking about the NFC West, and someone, hey, if you like all these other teams except the Seahawks, here you go. Like, it's the perfect bet to make.
BettingPros.com/chat.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of my favorite ones. Just bet on the Seahawks to finish last. And then my last one here, I think where I'm trying to kind of angle the 49ers, because I do expect their offense to get back up to top 10. I'm still kind of not sold about the defense. So Brock Purdy to lead the NFL in passing touchdowns, plus 2,800. So he was third in this category in 2023. He threw 31 passing touchdowns. And if you guys recall, that was also during the CMC streak where he would score rushing touchdowns basically every single week. And you still saw Purdy go over 30 passing touchdowns. 2024, last year was the first year Purdy posted a passing touchdown rate below 7% at 4.4%. We've always seen in the Kyle Shanahan offense, the quarterback posts a high touchdown passing rate. And last year we still saw Purdy be efficient outside of touchdowns, 8.5 yards per attempt. That was second best in the NFL, fifth in passing yards per game. So if this defense isn't up to snuff and they're playing in more shootout games, well, I think that means Purdy's going to have to throw the ball a ton. I think he's going to throw a lot of passing touchdowns. So 28-1 for a guy that has already thrown 30-plus touchdowns in his career. They paid the man. I think they're going to give him the ball, give him opportunities. So I like Brock Purdy at these odds.
I think that my favorite one is that Seahawks to finish last. That is fantastic. I absolutely love that. Terrell, what are your favorite bets for this division?
All right. First off, let's continue the Rams love. Over 9.5 wins. I do feel really, really good about the Rams. I think that if they eliminate all my defensive concerns, they probably could be the best team in the NFC. Here's the big money play that let's just end it with this. Because Erickson thought too small. And I hate to say it. But Erickson thought way too small. Yeah, you could make a bet for the Seahawks to be last in the division at plus 175. Yes, you could, sure. Or you could make a bet for the Seahawks to have the fewest wins in the league for 40-1. 40-1 for Sam Darnold to lead a team to the worst record in the league. And I went and I looked through the schedule and I was just going through and I'm like, okay, let's see how many wins do I think they legitimately can win with Sam Darnold. Like, they're straight up going to win this game. They have a home game against the Saints. You could get that one. They have a home game against the Colts. You might see Daniel Jones. You could get that one too. Every other game feels like either they lost or a coin flip. Every other game. Every single one. If Sam Darnold bottoms out, and then guess what? If Sam Darnold bottoms out, what if Jalen Milroe comes and he doesn't look good? Or he's not ready? Because they've been focusing the offense on Sam Darnold the whole season and not to what Jalen Milroe does. So there's a situation where they're like, okay, no more Sam Darnold. And then Milroe gets put out there and he's not ready because they didn't actively get him ready. Oh, what? This could be the last place team in the league. This could be a 3-4 win team. They could. Give me the Seahawks 40-1 to have the fewest wins in the league, the whole league.
I gotta say, I can't see him having less wins than the Saints, but stranger things
play head to head.
I know.
It's a road
and
game
Terrell
for
said
the
that
Saints,
too. I was like, oh man, the Saints pull up a weird upset. That is very much in play. Like it just.
And it's early in the season. It's early in the season, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm free rolling a 40-1 worst record. Hey man.
You know what? What's the Dolphins are the other team I would put in that mix too. I think this could be the year the Dolphins completely bottom out. I think that organization's just completely bereft of any sort of adult in the room. I think that's going to be a big problem this year in that division, just the way things are going. But it's not crazy. Terrell's thinking big. I like it. So there you have it, everybody. That's our take on the NFC West. But what's yours? Drop your comments below. Who wins the NFC West? Make your predictions. Drop them in the comments and subscribe to BettingPros right now. Trying to get to 100,000 this season, and we can do it with your help on the YouTube channel. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Terrell and Andrew, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. 40-1. Woo!